Hello, welcome back to Chats with Miss D. It's me, D. I just wanted to come and talk about some things that I've been seeing in the news for a while and some things I've been seeing lately. So, not sure if anybody watches The View. I don't watch it every day, but from time to time, I watch it on YouTube. More so like during the election period, because I kind of like to get my political news with a little, flair of entertainment, so it's not so boring. Anyway, Whoopi Goldberg is one of the hosts of The View, and she's kind of like the ringleader over there. But she has come under hot water for some comments about Jewish people and the Holocaust. And I think anybody would agree that the Holocaust was a terrible, terrible, terrible time in history. It was inhumane, disgusting, the things that were done to Jewish people, people of color, homosexuals, people who were physically or mentally handicapped. Wide range of people were just brutally treated during that time in Europe. We all learned about that in history class, some of us in literature class, and I don't know all of the details about what happened on the show because I did not watch it or the show after. I do know she gave an apology. She did an interview with Steve Colbert on the Late Show or the Tonight Show. I can't remember which one he hosts, but he's very funny. But she went on there and talked about it. She did apologize. Some people say her apology was not genuine. She was forced to apologize. I think what she said was that the Holocaust was not based on race. For me, Judaism is confusing because it's a religion, it's a race, it's a culture. I don't really know. What I do know is Jewish people from areas where there's a large Jewish population, they are people too. And in my eyes, because I pray to God, they're God's children. Because I feel like everybody is, no matter what you believe, to me, you're God's child. So, something like the Holocaust should not have ever happened to whoever it happened to. So, her saying it's a race or it's a religion or whatever, I get that because most Jewish people, or what we learned, is that the biggest number of people affected by the Holocaust were Caucasian people of the Jewish faith. And to me, the error is not an error of trying to degrade Jews or, talk bad about them or anything. I think it's an error of ignorance. That gets me to the next topic. I did some research, and the big thing that I have been hearing about for almost a year or maybe a little over a year, I don't know, is critical race theory. And I've been hearing these hillbilly moms and dads at school board meetings or these Republican politicians. They're always talking about critical race theory. And I try to ignore those people because they get on my nerves. But I thought that was just, they don't want things like the Holocaust, slavery, the civil rights movement, the Japanese internment camps being taught about because it makes them feel bad for things in history or just because they're sensitive or they're, being a Karen or whatever. That's what I thought the argument was. And that's basically what it is. But I did some research, and critical race theory was created by Kimberly Crenshaw. She is a legal scholar and a full-time law professor at UCLA School of Law and also Columbia Law School. Two very prestigious law schools in this country. And this is a graduate level law class called critical race theory. If you're enrolled in college, anything from a community college up to getting a PhD or a Juris Doctor, which is what a law degree is called, the classes have numbers and they have a name. So it could be critical race theory 6800. That might be like your second year of law school. You take that class and you learn about how race theory disingenuously affects people of color or minorities or people from the LGBTQ plus community, and how laws such as redlining or the law that they pass that they can't discriminate against people for having things like dreadlocks or laws that are put into place to help or to hinder. That is what critical race theory is. It's a graduate level law class. It has nothing to do with little Sally and Bobby in sophomore English not being able to read Mouse, which is a book about mice and cats that demonstrates the Holocaust, written by a Jewish man about his experience, his family's experience. Another thing that I was looking into is the banning of books. I think this country is so funny to me. We're supposed to be all about freedoms, freedom of speech. You can say what you want. You can write what you want. You can carry that gun. You can do this because America is about freedom. We're free from this and we're free from that. And we fight for our freedoms and everybody's so patriotic. But this is not the entire list. But I just was looking up books that are banned because I had been seeing a lot about this book Mouse, which I never read. That wasn't on our reading list when I was in high school. But all the things that are banned books. So not high school only, but like middle school. I think Of Mice and Men was maybe middle school or maybe like early high school. But Of Mice and Men, To Kill a Mockingbird, Animal Farm, The Catcher in the Rye, The Grapes of Wrath. All of these books are banned. Uncle Tom's Cabin. These are banned books. Some of them are banned for language. They have profanity in them, or they have racial slurs in them. Different things of that nature, which I have a 6-year-old daughter. If they're reading, Mal, I think everything needs to be age appropriate. But I also feel like we can't be so overly sensitive and so sheltering of our children, because then, and I'm not saying that like Whoopi Goldberg is ignorant, because I myself, I don't really understand and I don't know the difference. And I can admit, I don't have many Jewish friends. I've known Jewish people, but I'm not that close with Jewish friends, or they're not practicing or whatever. So I don't know all the details, but that's why it's important to be in diverse environments, share your culture, share your religion, so that people are informed and they won't offend you by things that they don't know. Sometimes you can be offended and they have malicious intent. They want to hurt you. They want to be offensive. Sometimes they don't. In Whoopi's situation, I don't think that's what it was. And I think we as a society need to stop sheltering people or covering them so much. These kids are in the hallways at school cussing and having sex in the bathroom and doing all kind of stuff. And I'm not exaggerating because I went to high school. They do a lot of stuff. At my high school, in one of the best school districts in Tennessee, those girls was having to be hauled off by the ambulance for overdosing on drugs. Some of them was getting pregnant, and we was all cussing. So these books are meant to teach things that if you live in the suburbs and, like me, you're one of like 10 people in your graduating class that is a minority. All of these kids, they're not exposed to different cultures or different things. We need these books. Books should not be banned. You have the choice. Just like I have the choice to watch CMT on TV, VH1. For one, I don't watch Love and Hip Hop. I have not since like the first season of Love and Hip Hop New York. I just don't like it. I have that choice to cut that off if that's what's on TV and switch to another channel. So these little kids can switch to a different book. I know that there's assigned reading. They should have approved reading. And, if you have a problem with that, let there be an alternate book or something like that. But I feel like that is completely asinine in the free nation of the United States to have banned books. And all of these mamas and daddies coming down to the school board meeting crying and fussing and cussing because they don't want little Billy and Mary Sue reading about the Holocaust or reading about slavery or the civil rights movement because it's going to make them feel bad. You need to feel bad so it doesn't happen again. The only way that history does not repeat itself is that you learn from it. You can't learn from it if we are sugarcoating it and making it palatable for people's feelings. Sometimes life is not always going to make you feel good, but so that we don't have another Holocaust or we don't round up all the Japanese people in internment camps or tell black people that they can't sit here or drink out of this water fountain or ride this bus or live in this neighborhood, so that we don't think that we can get free labor off of people, so that we don't have another Holocaust. I think I said that. I don't know. All of these bad things that happen in history, for them to not happen again, we need to teach our children. And it can't just be us, the black people, that teach our kids about history. We need to learn about everybody's history. So does your kid. We all need to learn about it. It's important. It's going to make us better, well-rounded people and more educated people. So we won't have mishaps that hurt people's feelings or get us suspended from work for 2 weeks or be completely embarrassed in front of the whole country because you misspoke on something that you really didn't know what you were talking about, just to be frank. So that's my thought on it. Critical race theory is for graduate level law students. You need to let your kids read a wide range of books and quit crying about, your fragility and feeling bad about some things that happened probably before you were born. Don't feel bad about it. Learn about it so you don't make the same mistake because you're listening to Granddaddy Joe and his, antiquated thinking. That's all I got. Thank you. Have a good one.